So to really hate him, you have to believe in your heart that he's a racist. And I think that's something that I haven't accepted yet, because I hear his speeches and he says something like Mexico doesn't send their best. And that can be looked at as very racist, but then you can also look at the numbers and see how much of the crimes are committed and stuff, and realize that it can be seen as true that there is a lot of criminals that are coming across, a lot of criminal activity happening through illegal immigration. Illegal immigration in itself is a crime. And that being said, if you're willing to commit that, either, no matter the circumstances or the reason, if you're willing to commit a crime, there's a good chance that you're willing to commit other crimes.
There's a lot of good people that come across that border too, man. I just think that when you like you said, there's two parts of the story. You can look at the glass as half full or half empty. There's good people that come across that border. I know a lot of upstanding Mexicans.
I would say there's people that's just trying to come here for an opportunity. You know, they come from places where that opportunity is either like not available or it's just too dangerous for them to do what they really want to do.
I'm not even from this planet.
A while back, so a couple of congresswomen was to go back to your own backyards and pretty much fix it. And people took that as racist. I didn't understand why people took that as racist, and granted, it probably could have been taken that way. But what he's saying is go home and be responsible for you. You got all this crime in Chicago or in Arizona or LA, but you here trying to tell me how to run stuff. Go back and fix your neighborhoods before you start doing anything else. And what we as people fail to realize is change starts at home. We're so busy trying to blame everybody else for things that are not going on in our life, but we're failing to realize that it's our choices who ultimately make our destiny.
And me,
those aren't mutually exclusive things, though.
That's true.
Like those two things are both true. People, there could be outside people killing you, and you could also be killing yourself. But you shouldn't stop one just because the other one exists. That doesn't make sense.
Me personally, I tend to like the way he talks because it reminds me a lot of myself. If you guys go through a lot of my posts, I do get a lot of interactions from people saying that basically what I'm saying is completely crazy and off the wall. That being said, I think it's similar to the Kanye issue in that he just says stuff that is true, but the way he says it isn't in the most polite way. It's rough around the edges when he says it.
I like his bluntness. I definitely can fuck with his bluntness because, you know, sometimes the truth hurts, and sometimes you got to get things across as straightforward as possible. You can't sugarcoat shit.
It's refreshing.
But sometimes it's just but at the same time, I can't agree with everything that he says, though. For example, when he does say, like, oh, illegals bring over the worst of their people. I'm like, that's not true, though. I don't feel like that's true. You know, I really don't.
Well,
it's true.
Agree with everything everybody says. If that was the case, we wouldn't be people. We have disagreements. We have different values, different beliefs, different morals. So we're not always going to agree all the time.
Hold on a second. DeJuan, you have anything that you want to elaborate on with this one?
Yeah. I wanted to say that this is my own little take, kind of with like piggybacking off Shawn. I think Obama created a vacuum that Trump walked through. Because if you know anything, that the people study Obama is a concessionist. And what that means is Obama will go and he'll get all these different people and he'll measure his words. And so Obama's not trying to piss off the Republicans. He's not trying to really embolden the Democrats. Yeah. And so he's measuring every word. Then he's black, so he's warned that he don't want to seem like he's too black. And so what it did, it create this vacuum. So Trump comes in, and Trump just a straight shooter. He's not measuring his words and everything like that. And then that appealed to a lot of people because Obama used to piss me off because he never would fucking directly say anything.
Yeah.
It's
He wouldn't be a nigga. He wouldn't be a nigga.
I wanted him to be so bad.
He refused to be a nigga.
Right.
Because he's not.
I 100% am just like, I look at it, and when he says certain stuff, that's the way I want him to say it. I don't want him to say it political. I don't want him to be a politician and sit there and debate and measure every word he says and say, oh, is like you were saying, is everybody going to get offended by what I'm saying? Is this going to hurt somebody's feelings? No, I want him to say what's first on his mind and know what's in his heart. And so far, like he said what's in his heart, and I've liked it. It's really appealed to me. I'm one of his demographic for sure. And it may just be the way I was raised. The way I was raised was conservative and Christian, and so a lot of that may be that. But at the same time, I see a lot of viewpoints, and I acknowledge them and everything. But I really cling to what he says. A lot of his words, the ones that people hate the most, are endearing to me.
What's one of your favorite Donald Trump quotes?
Give an example of one of those.
Yeah, give us one. Drop a bar. What's your favorite Donald Trump bar? Drop it.
Let me do some research real quick.
Somebody kicked it.
What's your favorite?
I want to make my last point real quick on Donald Trump. I dislike Donald Trump. I don't hate him because I try not to hate people. That's strong.
That's a good word.
But I do dislike him. But I do think that Donald Trump was necessary for this country from the standpoint of we all needed to look in the mirror, because to me, Donald Trump is just a caricature of what this country is. Everything that's wrong or maybe even right about this country is inside of Donald Trump. And I feel like we needed this for us to look in the mirror at each other and see what our country has built. And we also needed to get it out in the open, because Donald Trump's rise to presidency and his presidency has made a lot of people very bold and has allowed a lot of people to say their points and come out of the dark and say how they feel about you, how they feel about them and everything. And I think that we needed that. We needed to everybody to come out and say, this is where I stand, so we can know where we are and how we need to move forward.
I agree.
Like a cultural reset in a way, yeah.
I did look up some quotes, and I found the one that was like, this made me just smile. I was like laughing inside to myself. He said, I could stand in the middle of Fifth Ave and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose voters. That's so dope. Like, what kind of president ever talk like that? What kind of president says something like that?
That's some gangster shit. That is.
Hey, I asked him for a bar. He really dropped a bar.
Yeah, that's a bar.
I mean, that was just like favorable to me. It won me over. Like when he says stuff like that, like it just gets me excited. Like he's not like the last presidents. Even Bush is like, that's another conservative. But
Bush was fucking funny when they threw the shoe at Bush.
Yeah,
that was funny as fuck.
And then what's funny with the shoe, Bush was like, "You got some more shoes? Come on,
Pop back up."
I think what a lot of people fail to understand is a lot of the presidents prior to Trump, a lot of the people in Congress prior to Trump all had training. Trump has not ever been a politician, or he's never spoken with poise or with class. He's always been trashy. It's just, that's who he is and who he's always been. And I think people look at him like that, and they hold him to the same standard as other presidents when he doesn't come from the same kind of background.